Yes, guys, what's good? You tuned into Mango Masala, Pi Radio's South Asian show. My name's Gerns, and I'm joined here by Naman. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, guys. How are you? You okay?
It's been a long week. I was in London actually,
Right.
past few days, but that's where you're from, isn't it? Or like roundabouts near that sort of area.
I'm just outside West London, place called Berkshire, but where I
Okay.
work is Central London. Haven't been there in a while though, working from home and everything. It's not often that we go into workplaces.
So for the people out there that might not know who you are, what you do you want to just give a little bit of background about yourself, how you got into music, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Naman. Nice to meet you guys. And I started making music in June last year. That was inspired by my liking for poetry and writing. I've been a big fan of that since I was young. And I also learned to play the piano. So that sort of inspired me to get into instrumentals. And then I thought one day, why not, put lyrics over it and talk about how I feel and think on actual tracks. And then used to freestyle back in secondary school and, found out that I'm actually half decent at this. So why not take it a step further and actually release music?
For sure. So when was it that you thought, okay, I actually want to pursue music as a serious thing rather than just freestyling in school, that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. So I used to, in my spare time during A levels and just before that during GCSEs as well, whenever I had spare time, I'd search up instrumentals on YouTube and just write down like spontaneous lyrics and rap it over. And I thought, this is kind of fun. And then I listened to a lot of UK rap music, so I was inspired by them as well. And I thought, why not, actually try and record something? And the first time I did, I realized, there's a lot more to making music than just, recording your vocals, putting it on an instrumental and then releasing it. So I learned the art of mixing, mastering, and all the technical sides that come towards making music. And then I thought I was confident with my first product, Pied Piper, and I thought it's worth putting it out and just seeing what happens. And the response to that was good. And I thought, why stop? And I just kept going.
For sure. And that was only last year, right?
Yeah, it was June last year, my first drop.
Yeah, because this is the thing as well. Because obviously you were saying like, oh yeah, back in secondary school, but that's actually not that long ago for you, isn't it? Your song 19 was made because you turned 19. I just say as well, your like tone of voice, you got such like a deep voice. I was fully expecting before I put a face and name for it to be like this like 30-year-old that person who's been way into the game. But like I think that's something that's really cool about you, like that tone that you've got.
Appreciate it. Yeah, actually, on our last final days assembly in the A levels, I performed Location, Dave's part, with a couple of the other instrumentals, musicians, and people were like, you actually got a deep voice. You should carry on pursuing it." And that was a big moment for me to perform in front of my peers, and just feel that sensation of performing.
So thinking about you coming into music in this past year, I think the track that draw my attention to you and what probably drew a lot of people to you initially was Baller, which you released I think towards the end of last year. Was it autumn time?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is with Sam, and that in terms of reception, that's done remarkably well considering you'd only been doing music for a while, and I know it got playlist. I think it went to B playlist on Asian Network as well. Yeah, so it's obviously for you at that time at such a young age, and for you to go to that what do you think it was about that track that just seemed to just get everyone to turn their heads and like think, wow, this guy's actually pretty decent?
Yeah, it's actually a funny story how that track came about. I put a cover out on TikTok on Funky Friday, just my own verses over the instrumental, and that caught a bit of traction on the platform. And through the comments and the likes, Sam was there as well. And I was like, let me have a listen to his music. And then, like you do with every artist, I heard his most streamed track, which was 365. And I was like, this is brilliant stuff. I want to work with him. And then we just had a sort of mutual direction towards, we should make a track together. And then I had an idea because I've heard him, he's R&B vibe, he can do the rap inside too. So I thought I need to pick an instrumental that can complement both of our sounds. So I picked that instrumental, put my verse on it, sent that through to him. He did his thing clearly and sent it back to me. And then I just had that sort of artist instinct, I guess, when you hear a track back several times and think it's a bit different. It's not your typical sort of drill or rap or, which is all amazing, but it's sort of a different sound. So when I heard that back, I thought, this might be able to do something better than what I've produced before. And having such a big artist, brilliant artist on it as well, does nothing but help. So when we did release that, initially it got a few views, the standard amount of streams, and then a brilliant station called Mango Masala Radio
Oh
put
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they played my track for the first time, which was actually my debut radio stream or like overall. So I'm very grateful to you guys for that opportunity as well. And then from there, it just took off. I got a message from Jeevan on BBC Asian Network saying that she'd like to play that on her show as the track of the week. And she decided to like just name drop track of the week, not actually make a deal out of it. And I had to read it twice. Like, did you actually just say track of the week? Like, this is like my fifth track or fourth track. So it's quite a big achievement for me to be able to do that at such a short space of time being into the music scene. And then I got an email saying it's been playlisted. No idea what that meant until I went on the website and saw that there's such big names alongside it. It was quite humbling to see people that I've been listening to for a large part of my life, like have my name next to them. It was a very, very sort of grounding feeling. And yeah, it was a big experience, that one. Yeah.
What you were just saying as well about seeing yourself amongst those big names on the playlist, I'm curious. Obviously, the music that you do is sort of, I mean, you do like a range of music, but centering around rap, R&B, hip hop, that sort of thing. Growing up, did you have much influence from Asian artists, or was it more your traditional Western R&B and hip hop people, or a mixture of both?
Mixture of both actually hits the nail on the head. I'm a big fan of Bollywood, so me and my family and my relatives back home, we like to watch Bollywood a lot. So the classic tunes, they're always part of daily life. But I think it was 2013, 2014 when I really started sort of delving into the UK rap side of things, and then I came across the biggest names in the UK industry, Stormzy, Dave, etc. And I was like, this stuff is incredible. Like, how have I not come across this before? And then I guess because I'm British Asian, I've had the experience of listening to both sides, both styles of music. Bollywood being that more sort of classic storyline, fit a song along the line, loads of dancing, loads of vibes. But then the UK rap style is a lot more hard, a lot more sort of push the lyrics across as opposed to instrumentals, which is more the forte of the Asian music. So I think I managed to combine both of those well decently and put the UK rap side of things, but also carry that cultural side of me as well. I dropped Asian Persuasion as well last year, and that one I'd really tried to push across the British Asian aspect that we exist, British Asian rappers exist in the UK music industry, and hopefully there'll be a lot more in the future as well.
No, and I think hearing that track in Asian Persuasion for the first time as well, it was nice because I think it's nice when British Asian artists they recognize and show pride of their heritage, but then it's not necessarily that that's all that they are. Like that for you is sort of like one track, and maybe you'll do more in the future, or you could even do a whole project on it in the future. But it's that track in line with all the other stuff that you've done, and it shows that you're not wanting to be like boxed into this or that. Like you're just yourself.
Definitely, yeah. I think the instrumental on Asian Persuasion's got the dhol instrument in it, which is the classic Desi Indian sound. And I felt quite like intrigued when I heard that for the first time. I thought, how can I make this instrumental sound like UK rap? And then I thought, why not just put what I'm about, what it's all about. The lyrical process for that was quite spontaneous because it was quite literally talking about my culture, what I represent, and just put that on the instrumental. And yeah, I'm glad that people liked it.
Yeah, no, definitely, and just that like big bass line. Like I think it was the bass line as well that properly like made it sound like okay, like now you can rap over this and make it sound
Right.
sick. So
Agreed, yeah.
coming over to this year and the past few weeks, obviously you've just dropped Flight Number 6 debut EP. Six completely new songs. I know you released Connection a few weeks ago as a sort of teaser.
So after Asian Persuasion, I did 19, and that made my sort of six singles so far. And I thought, the Christmas break was coming up. I had quite a bit of free time. Why not pause on the continuous sort of single releases and focus on a bit of a larger project? And then the whole concept of Flight Number 6 was quite interesting because I wanted the EP to represent a message of trust the process. Like I wanted listeners to feel that, their dreams and ambitions are never unachievable. They can always get to where they want to be. And I thought, if you're a pilot of a flight, you're in control of that in the same way that we're in control of our lives. So I thought the pilot aspect worked quite well. And then I brainstormed a few names and pilot flight, it just made sense. And then I decided I wanted six tracks. And I also wanted to tap into six different genres, which would have been quite difficult. But luckily, I managed to get the six different sounds across. So that was the inception of Flight Number 6. And then I wanted it to be a bit slightly cliched, but start off with takeoff, end with landing, sort of depict that entire journey. And then the first half of the EP is more sort of sit back, enjoy it, different R&B, club vibe, bit of Afrobeat. And I wanted the second half to be a lot more sort of reflective. So that's why I started off with Doubtful to, really query yourself, question yourself that your dreams, your ambitions, are you really serious about them? Do you really want them to become a reality? Standards freestyle, I think, is a lot more drilly, a lot more hard. And I wanted to tap into drill as well because it's such a popular genre right now. And then landing was one of my personal favorites because it's the closest representation I've come on a track to talk about myself and my emotions, which usually, rappers tend to be a bit sort of reserved about talking about themselves, more about their lifestyle. So I thought I want to put a bit of a personal touch to it. And that's how landing came about.
For sure, and I think I definitely got the different genres, and I made sure to like listen to it from start to finish as a whole entity. And I think obviously, like you said at the start, you've got your sort of classic rap, but then also like a few like melodic bits as well.
Yep.
And then you've got like your two features in the middle actually as well. So how was it? Obviously collaborating with Sam again, but then also Reveal as well.
Yeah, so like we discussed before, me and Sam, we made Baller, which was caught up a lot of traction, and I personally really enjoyed his sound and my sound together, and I thought it was only right, to get him back on this project. But I wanted to make a different sound. Baller was more like, sitting on a beach, sunset, that kind of thing. I wanted this one to be, the point where in a club or a party, the night starts to get a little bit messy, that kind of thing. So that instrumental was quite bouncy. I mean, I've heard it more than 100 times through the mixing, mastering process and everything, and I still fail not to bob my head to it every time I listen to it. So I wanted him on that kind of sound, and I know he can sing and rap, so we got him involved there. And Reveal, actually, I came across him through doing a bit of research on the internet because I wanted to, and Spotify, because I wanted to find an artist which could, deliver that message of don't doubt yourself, be yourself, and continue to do so. And I heard his music, Ace, for example, good track of his. I heard that and I thought, we can work on this, our sounds, have some sort of synergy. So I messaged him on Instagram. Process was quite smooth, got him involved, and yeah, we just went from there. Both of the turnaround times were quite fast, because both the artists, they enjoyed the track, they were feeling it, they put their best on it, I feel, and yeah, projects turned out quite well.
Yeah, and I'm curious as well. So, did you not actually like meet the artist? Then it was all done virtually.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. All the collaborations so far have been not without meeting in person, but this year, they say that pandemic is going to be turned into an endemic. So hopefully, I can catch up with them in person and catch a proper vibe in the studio.
No, for sure, and I can only imagine like how good that would be because honestly, listening to those two tracks, I think especially the one with Sam, I remember listening to it, and because you're kind of like it's almost like having like a bit of banter with each other, like going between the two. And I remember I was like thinking, I was like, wait, but then I think surely these two won't have actually been together, but it sounds so much like you are like literally in the studio right next to each other. So yeah, I can only imagine like for when you actually can meet up with people, how much better that's going to be as well. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but I had a vision of back to back. I just hope that he saw it the same way. And he was like, that's a great idea. Why don't we go for that? And then I filled in like a couple of my initial verses to just make sure that, we're both on the same page. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I sent my sort of back to back verses across. He did the same. And then I heard it back. I was like, how we've managed to done this without meeting in person is a myth.
yeah, no, I'm really impressed with that. Not gonna lie, but then the last two tracks, obviously, you got Standards Freestyle, like you said, it's got a bit more of that drill feel, also like a bit more hard hitting, and then finishing with Landing, going back to a bit more. I think, like you said, probably the most reflective track of the EP. I mean, you've spoken briefly about it, but what would you say is like the main message that you're trying to convey? Because literally, I was like getting ready. I was like on the plane, I was getting ready to land, and then you come through at the end, and you kind of it's almost like you're delivering like a your own philosophical take on like
Yeah.
life. But so,
Yeah.
what's the main message that you're trying to get through in that?
Yeah, so when we go on holiday, right? We start off like, excited. We're going back out, we're going to explore whatever we want to do. This is our sort of the time of our lives at the moment. But on our return journey back, it's like reality hits hard. we're going back to that same job we're working or back to standard life. And that's what I wanted to put through in landing. Like, dreams are usually just left dreams if you don't work on them. And I wanted to put that through. Like, I'm a big fan of the phrase trust the process, because there are going to be so many hurdles in the way, so many people that won't believe in you. But on the same side, there are going to be so many people that do support you. There are going to be ways you find to tackle those hurdles. And I just wanted like all my listeners to just feel that, nothing is impossible. If you want to become, I don't know, the prime minister, you can do it. You want to become the next Dave, you can do it. There's nothing that's stopping you except your own like mental restrictions. So as the EP progressed, I wanted like the initial to be happy days, yeah, take off, cool, connection, bit of the pink side of the EP, bit of romance, bit of love, and then 2 ways back into the club vibe, bouncing up and down, chilling with your mates. Then sort of reality check, like, okay, cool, here's the party side done, but are you actually serious about your dreams, your ambitions? Then standards freestyle is a bit more, I just wanted to, hit the drill side, show people that I can do this as well. And then landing, like you said, was the philosophical track of the EP and just sort of bring the place to a close. And I ended landing with a bit of a speech, I guess. And that was, I tried to play on words there and name all of my tracks in the EP in that sort of final comment. And I hope that came across in the way I intended it to.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it was a really nice touch to finish it on that. Like, again, and rather than just, like, I know you said before, like, oh, it's cliche. I did take off and then landing, but you went beyond that, because I think you made it so that it wasn't just calling it those two titles. You actually made it feel like it was beginning and ending a journey. So yeah, no, I think really well done on that.
Thank you.
Obviously, that EP has been out for a while. How have you found like reception to it's been?
Yeah, it's been out it's going to hit its first week tomorrow, actually. So far, yeah, I got a few messages from completely new supporters I've never, I came across. They messaged me and said, we really like the project. And that was a big moment for me, because as an artist, the first time you get a message from a supporter saying they like your music, you remember that for a very long time, that, I finally touched a brand new listener and they enjoyed the project. And streams have been doing well so far. Yeah, but it's only a week, so I'm expecting a lot more growth as well in the coming weeks. Radio stations are picking it up well, good reception there. And yeah, I personally, like my mates and my family really enjoyed it. And they're my closest listeners at the moment until I grow more as an artist. And if they enjoy it, I must be doing something along the right lines. And it's my favorite 6 tracks I've made till date. And, every track I make in the future will be my new favorite. And that's the way I look at producing music.
No, for sure. And I think I can only look forward to what you're actually going to release in the future as well. So what have you got planned? Is there anything in the works, or are you just kind of enjoying the rest of the landing of Flight Number 6?
Yeah, a bit of both, to be honest. I've got a few singles in the pipeline, but they're just drafts. I've put my vocals down, left it on the side. Mixing, mastering, I haven't taken that part too seriously for my next releases just yet, because like you said, I want to take in what's happened from the EP, what people think of it, maybe a little bit of feedback here and there, and then include that and then go hard again on whatever next releases there are. And, I realized by working with S.A.M and Reveal, the whole concept of collaboration is really interesting. Your sound working well with another sound, to, 2 different sets of listeners, 2 artists, and combining. It's a way of bonding over music. And I think that's what makes collaboration incredible. And, we've just touched February. So across the rest of this year, I really hope to work with a lot more artists and collaborate a lot more sounds together and hopefully reach bigger audiences.
Sure, no, that sounds really good. And I'm personally really excited. I mean, obviously we named you our one to watch for 2022, and it was with good reason, because we thought like you actually can go places. So obviously you've started the year off at a high. I can only like just sit back and wait now and see what comes from the rest of it. So probably coming to the end of the interview now, but do you want to maybe let people know where they can find you on socials, where they can find your new EP, that sort of thing?
Yep, sure. So I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok. I put freestyles out, a bit of music promo, and that's all under the same username, my artist name, Namxn, followed by the number 6. My EP is out on all streaming platforms, on my YouTube channel. Give it a listen. You won't regret it, I promise. And yeah, hope you enjoy the project.